Still a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning right here on Wake Up Nigeria, and the conversations begin. Right now I have with me Amaka Odunowo, a personal and family life coach with a background in guidance and counseling. Now, with over 15 years of experience, she has cultivated a deep understanding of household dynamics, working across diverse sectors such as family, nonprofit schools, churches, coaching organizations, and so much more. And today we're going to be having a conversation, toxic parenting. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
You look so bright and beautiful. I love your outfit. And your skin is popping. Everything is right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I know you said I shouldn't ask you this question, but I'm just going to generalize it, right? So do you believe that, that's before we get into main conversations, do you believe there should be like limits and limitations to parents, children, interactions? Now, I'll give you a wild example, right? I was having a conversation with some people a while back, and then someone was talking about how, she stops her husband from dating a kid at like, what, 2? And all of that. And I was like, oh, okay, 2, okay. So what was your take on that? Some people argue, okay, why are you taking the innocence out of that relationship? Some people argue, okay, no, you still have to set the boundaries.
Okay, so this question has tangles, so to speak, because we are thinking culture, we are thinking personal values, we are thinking tradition. When I say culture, I mean popular culture. What's popular, what's trending, what's normal in your particular time or where you are. I'm thinking the traditions that were passed down to you. I'm thinking your personal values. We might also be thinking your faith, your religion, your personal convictions. So I won't say a one size
fits everyone.
However, there are a few lines that should not be crossed with boundaries. So generally, yes, in speaking to a child, right, we'll tell, when I speak to mothers, because mothers tend to do that more, we'll say, the trauma and the baggage you have with your husband, you don't need to discuss it with your child. Don't transfer it.
Yeah, so now I'm talking more of like interactions when it comes to like physicality. For instance, now there was a video trending of Kune Afolayan dancing with his daughter. Some people are like, oh, it's too raunchy. It should not be, it should, like, it's a no. And some people are like, oh, no. It shows that something is happening behind the scenes. Some people are like, okay, see, it's just cute. It's just a father having fun with his daughter. So something like that.
Okay, so I haven't watched the video. I don't know what's about, so I can't speak directly to it. And like I said, it comes down to traditions, to values, to culture. So everybody that is watching the video is looking at it with a particular lens. And the people doing the dance are also looking at it with a particular lens. So I feel like we don't have, especially in Nigeria, you know, we're segmented in so many different bits and pieces. We don't have one view and one voice over a lot of matters. I can't speak directly to it. I've not seen it. I don't know what it's like. I would, however, say that we should, in every interaction we have with our children, we should think, what is the long-term effect? What's the purpose of this thing? Why are we doing it? Is it necessary? Is it going to help my children in future? Right? Is it teaching them something? Is it helping a future relationship? Is it calling my daughters or my sons? Is it making our relationship questionable to others? Because there are honestly some things that might not be wrong, but they would give you a bad reputation and you want to, but you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, and if you don't care, that's okay, that's you don't care. So it really just...
Okay, really let's go into our conversation for today. Just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on that issue. So now let's talk about toxic parenting. Now what would you define as toxic?
So I think toxic for me runs a spectrum. You have something that is generally unpleasant, right? You just don't want to be around it. You don't like it, it's a smell or something. And then it runs all the way to fatal, right? Can actually kill you. And so when I think toxic parenting, I'm thinking attitudes, behaviors, characters of parents, or things that they do that is not necessarily who they are, but they just do it while parenting, right? That is either really unpleasant consistently or can be very detrimental to their children or the relationship they have with their children.
Okay, great. Okay, so now would you give like examples of those kind of behaviors?
Okay, so we have one that is really popular in Nigeria, well, in the mental health space, which is gaslighting, right?
Okay.
We're all talking about gaslighting.
Okay.
And, well, we grew up, I don't know if you grew up with, why are you crying? Did I beat you? What did I say? Did you experience
Let's not talk
anything
about
like
what I
that?
grew up with.
Okay, but a lot of us grew up with,
Yeah.
I would give you a reason to cry. What did I say to you that's making you cry? Did I beat
Yeah,
you?
okay.
Did we do it? Like somebody will do something to you and people are like, what is wrong with you? And the person is standing in front of you and is like, did I do anything to you? Yeah, talk, did I do anything? Open, you get, and you know. Do you see? And so the child grows up really questioning, did I experience that? What's going on in my mind? You know, and then you have a lot of mental health issues and self-confidence issues arising from there. You have verbal abuse, right? When you're saying things that tear your child down, which is also like very close to emotional abuse, right? There's a lot of belittling, there's a lot of criticism, humiliation, right? You're beating a child in public, you're tearing off a child's clothes. Like it can be extreme, and then it can also, you know, come into class to slap a child because the child did not do their chores in the morning. Some of us saw others have those experiences while we were growing up, right? Where a parent would have the child disciplined in front of the entire school. The principal would say, you do not listen to your mother at home. Do you see? And these things have long-term adverse effects on individuals. We're also thinking neglect of the children in different ways. Really anything that affects the child physically, mentally, that psychologically, emotionally, and even spiritually as well. We're thinking physical abuse.
Okay, now I'm going to hold you right there.
Okay.
So before you said physical abuse, I was going to say, okay, fine. Am I noticing you're not necessarily speaking about spanking or things like that? And then you say physical abuse, right? So now we know a lot of us grew up with the saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. So now when you say physical abuse, some people have the school of thoughts that never spank your child. In fact, never use the word no or anything negative when speaking with a child. So are you also of that school of thought, and where's the limits?
Those are two different questions.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the question of no.
Yeah.
It is being an inconsistent, lack of boundaries, not a firm parent is detrimental for your child because a child growing up without boundaries, the child doesn't feel safe. The child doesn't know what to expect. You're erratic. Today anything goes. Tomorrow anything goes. The child can harm themselves. It's a lot. So we actually put inconsistency, erratic, and lack of boundaries as a part of toxic parenting as well,
great,
right?
Great.
Children have, life is no. You see, children have to be able to handle no. They're going to be hearing no more than they're going to be hearing yes as they grow up. You give a proposal, somebody will say no. Are you going to die? You see, so they should start learning to hear no from, from the home and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So yes, boundaries.
Physical,
But now for the issue of spanking and smacking
versus physical abuse.
Versus physical abuse, right? This is what I'm going to say about it. There are people that are, it's a dicey issue. So, people are on both sides of like, never ever raise your hand to a child. A child does not need to suffer in that way. And there are people like, this is necessary, it's a part of what needs to be done. And there are people that are in the middle are like, do you know what? I might not do this every day, but once in a while we need a manual reset, right? What I would say is, look at yourself. Is smacking changing the child? Is this solving the problem, or is it helping you to get rid of the aggravation you're feeling? While you're smacking the child on, have you trained the child? I didn't say have you said. Have you trained the child? You've spoken to the child, you've practiced with the child, you've modeled it, right? What you're smacking the child over, do you have self-control? Or because it's a child and cannot fight you back, you're like, why did you do this? Do you see? And there's a total lack of self-control where it's really not about what the child did. It's about how you're feeling. And for a lot of mothers, I tell them, when you watch it, because we do a lot of tracking in my work, right? If you track it, most times when you're tempted to smack your children, it's because you are dysregulated, you are tired, you're upset, the child has been challenging you, or you're angry, and check it. A lot of times when a parent is happy, things are good, a child will do something like, be careful, don't do that again. juicy.
True.
And the child might get away with it. And then one day you're actually already upset, you're already angry. Or maybe it's even the child that has upset you.
Yeah, consistently.
Consistently.
Because I noticed that things happen like this where you tell a child one thing over and over again, and it seems like the person is just testing you. So in that situation, what would you advise?
I'll say a lot of times parents think talking is training. So I'm saying something to you, you're not listening. I'm not going to use the exact word, but we say when you keep doing something and it's not working.
Yeah, change your
right.
methods, yeah.
You need to change your methods because it's really not on the child at that point. It's you. You need
So
to
what
step back
would
and
you say is training? How best?
Training is taking somebody by the hand and saying, you need to learn this. How best am I going to make sure you need to know this? Do I need to speak to you? Do I need to model it? Do I need to show you how it's done? Do we need to practice together?
Yeah.
So the easiest and fastest way we do it is something like watch me do it, which is true for younger children, right? They learn by observing their environment. They just soak up whatever is going on, the language that is spoken, the actions that are taken, the routines that are done, how people relate with each other. And so the first thing is watch me do it. And the next thing is let's do it together.
Yeah,
and then the more we do it together, the more independent I leave you. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal as parents. You're supposed to train yourself out of a job in every aspect, right? And so we'll keep doing it together till it gets to the point that I'm comfortable with you doing it. And after a while, you do it and then I supervise.
Okay.
Right? And then after a while, I let you do it. And so it's hard. A lot of us assume that parenting is going to be easy. We assume that, but we don't get into parenting with manuals. They don't train you
No, they don't.
in the office, in the hospital, right? And so you don't have the idea. But if you practice and you're more, sorry.
And even more, like, I mean, because most of us, I mean, come on. When you talk about our parents, right? Nigerian mothers, especially with the whole trending video of Nigerian mother, of course do you understand? So we're used to it, and now it's even like fun when you look back. But then again, definitely
hurt people, and so we are passing trauma down generations.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It was such an interesting conversation, and it was amazing. And this is our final.
Yeah.
Aw, so sad. But then again, we're definitely sure we'll be having you back soon enough. Thank you.